wanna see you. I don't wanna hear you tonight. I don't wanna fight you. You don't wanna know if I feel right. I don't wanna just forgive you. I just wanna be fine. I'll be waiting for a sign to light up. Yeah. And your heart is out of sight. I just wanna feel mine. Hey you, I'm gonna be the one for another one.
What's up, everybody? This is Scoop and Score. We're back. We're doing a fun little show here where we're going to go through all of the NFL Week 1 games. I'm Hefe. I'm your host. I got my co-host with me, Alpha to the side. BBB, Big Brain Bets, is also in the building right below. Fellas, it's been a while, but we are days away from football being back. How we feeling?
Guys, we are back. I'm excited to be here with you boys, chopping it up. Full week 1, and I'm excited to get down with it. BBB, we are back for the ATS spot. This is Scoop and Score. How are you, my friend?
I'm beyond pumped. We got football in less than a couple days now, and then, of course, the big slate on Sunday. We've got a little bit of teasers with the college football. We had some Sunday night football in college, some exciting games with those, but it's time to get the real deal back, and I'm excited to break down some of these games with you guys.
Absolutely, man. Me too. So like I said, we're going to start from the beginning. We're going to work our way game through game. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do this thing. All right, so the NFL season 2022 starts off with a Thursday night matchup between the reigning Super Bowl champs. It is ring night in LA. The Rams will raise their banner for their Super Bowl win, but they welcome in town the preseason betting favorite to make the Super Bowl, the Buffalo Bills. Last time I saw the Bills play, it was probably the greatest football game I ever saw in my life in terms of a playoff game, that back and forth game between the Chiefs that nobody ever wanted to see end. Well, now you got the Bills on the road. They are road favorites to start the year, -2.5. Alpha, will start with you.
Man, if you guys watched this show last year, which, by the way, it is great to be doing this for a second year with you boys, but if you watched this show last year, you know how big I was on the Bills. I thought they were going to win it all season long. They've made some good improvements in the offseason, and I'm still on the Bills train, especially early. I do like them on the money line at a -130. I have more to come, though, when we get to our best bets. I have them in one of my big parlays, but on a straight play on this one, I do like the Bills on the money line at a -130. BBB, game 1 of the year, Bills at the Rams. What are we thinking?
I got to say, I kind of want to open this one to a discussion here because I think this is the first game of the year. There's a lot going on with it. It's been talked about for just months now at this point, and everyone's kind of going with the contrarian Bills. They're the road fave, or now they're a road fave. They open as a dog. At this point, I feel like the Rams are almost the more contrarian pick. I mean, a lot of people like to play contrarian when it comes to NFL, and usually that works out for you. But at this point, there's over 80% of the money that's on the Bills. And there's the narratives just being pushed of, the Super Bowl hangover, Matthew Stafford's arm. Yeah, Cam Akers coming back from the big surgery, didn't look too great in the Super Bowl. There's a lot of narratives being pushed that all kind of point to the Bills. Do you think at this point the contrarian play would be the Rams at this point?
Absolutely. I don't even think that's a discussion. I think all the momentum, all the public is riding with the Buffalo Bills here based upon last time we saw them play. A lot of murmurs about Stafford, how injured really is his shoulder. New wide receiver 2 there, and Allen Robinson. How is he going to fit in? Is Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, how healthy are they in the backfield there? So there are questions on that side of the field. Plus, I know Jalen Ramsey's healthy, but he hasn't practiced at all in spring training or played in the preseason. That's hard. It's hard to just your first action be thrust into a crazy matchup, especially against the Bills. So yeah, I do believe that the public is on the Bills. I don't have a side for this game. I have a prop. This is probably the only game that we can look at props because it's a Thursday night game, so those lines are out. I'm targeting Stephon Diggs over 5.5 receptions. Stephon Diggs is Josh Allen's safety net. He's the safety blanket, unless I hear otherwise. They really didn't add anybody to that wide receiving corps. It's still Stephon Diggs. Gabriel Davis obviously has taken a step up based upon the performance we saw in the playoffs, and Isaiah McKenzie is the slot guy. I think Allen will target Diggs often and early. I'm taking the over 5.5 receptions. That's at minus 130 odds.
I like that. I like that. And one thing I did want to bring up here, I do have the public betting percentage numbers. As we stand currently, it is Tuesday afternoon. As of Tuesday afternoon, the Bills have 65% of the action. The Rams have 35% of the action. It is basically split equally between the betting percentage and the money. So we're seeing 65-35 and 66-34. So it's pretty much 65-35 on any way you look at it. Right now, Bills.
Yeah, I think the Bills are that it was a sharp play at the beginning there. If I had to give a play on this one, I kind of want to go with the contrarian of the Rams at this point, bite up to the 3-point. I think this is going to be a tight game. I think this is going to be a good game. It might be a little sloppy because, like you said, both sides. I know the Bills have a couple injuries too at cornerback. I think they're going to struggle to cover this wide receiver these wide receivers for the Rams because, Cooper Kupp, excellent route runner. He's not going to beat you with anything crazy, but he's going to beat you. It's as simple as that. He's not going to, it's not the Mike Williams on the Chargers where he's just absolutely mossing you because he's physically bigger than you, but he's going to beat you with route running. I think people still undervalue that a little bit. I don't think he's going to have the season he has last year, but I think he's going to come out and be able to dissect a team that's got some hurt cornerbacks. And I think it's going to be a tight game though. I think it'll be really tight, come down to the last possession, and I'm going to go with the contrarian here, especially on week 1.
It's a great point about the Bills' secondary. Their defense obviously was one of the best in the league last year. No Jordan Poyer to start the year, and no Tre'Davious White either. He's out for the first 4 games, I believe, still recovering from that torn ACL from last year. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's move into the Sunday slate. It is a full Sunday slate. It's week 1. I'm going to start with the 1 o'clock games, and the first game on the slate is the Saints and Falcons. This game is in Atlanta to start the year. Saints are the favorites, minus 5.5. I'll actually start this one off, guys. This is one of my favorite plays of week 1. It just happens to be the first game. I love the Saints here. And I think you're getting them at a really good value based on where they are versus where their opponent, the Falcons, are, just in terms of in the franchise. The Falcons are in the midst of a complete and total rebuild. They have young players scattered all over this roster, both on the defensive side and on the offensive side. They used their first-round pick on wide receiver Drake London out of USC. Their other best option on offense is their tight end, Kyle Pitts, who's coming into his second year. But Matt Ryan ain't no more. He ain't there anymore. He's an Indianapolis Colt, and thus Marcus Mariota is once again a starting quarterback in the NFL. Desmond Ridder is waiting for his turn on the sideline, and I think it'll soon come. But week 1, I'm going with Jameis and the Saints. Jameis, before the injury last year, was 4-1 in the first 5 weeks. He had a 14 touchdown, a 3 interception ratio. This team only got better on offense, drafting Chris Olave and signing Jarvis Landry. Kamara's in the backfield. If Michael Thomas is healthy, that's scary. And oh, by the way, they had a top 5 defense last year and just added Tyrod Matthew. I'm going with the Saints minus 5.5 here.
I lean the Saints if I were to take a side. I'm taking a total in this spot. I think this one's going to go well under. I think we're going to see some decent offense from the Saints, but I think it's going to take a little while for the Falcons to get their offensive rhythm this year. A lot of moving pieces, a lot of new players there. I'm taking the under 42.5. It is one of my favorite plays of the week. BBB, what are you thinking?
I like both angles that you guys have mentioned already. I lean towards the under, but I think my favorite play is I align with Hefe here. I think that the Saints get it done here. Minus 5.5. I think it is a low number for this one. And it's a little bit surprising for me because I do think the dogs are going to bark in this week, but I do like this favorite in this one. I think Jameis Winston pretty much to match every point that Hefe made. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's going to lead this team. I don't know if he's going to be able to, lead into a deep playoff run, but I think he's going to show up, especially against a young team like Atlanta has. I think Atlanta can have some bright spots later on in the year, but it's going to take some time for these young guys to adapt and get ready, and get into the league flow of things because it's a whole different speed from college. It's a whole different game almost at some points. So I think that, Atlanta will have some moments. There'll definitely be some times we're backing them this year, but I think New Orleans comes out and I could definitely see him rolling by at least a touchdown in this one.
All right, guys. Good stuff. Let's keep it moving over here, guys. Let's move on to the next game. Niners-Bears out of Chicago. This is an interesting matchup. Actually, we'll have 2 second-year quarterbacks starting. We have Justin Fields coming off of, I'd say, an okay rookie season. Not great, not bad. He could only work with the roster that he had, right? And the Bears didn't do much to bolster that roster, sadly, this past offseason. They didn't have a draft pick because they used it the year prior. Traded to the Giants, I believe, right, Alpha?
Yes, they did.
They didn't add much. They did not add much. They're still working with what they're working with. The Bears are projected to be one of the worst teams in the league with a 5.5 win total. But they have some pieces. I do kind of like Darnell Mooney a little bit as a wide receiver one. We'll see how Fields can work with that. And David Montgomery, at one point, it was a good running back. Let's see if he can get back into that. On the other side, I have no freaking idea what's going on with the 49ers. They're all in on Trey Lance. They don't want Jimmy G. Then all of a sudden, they bring Jimmy G back. They're still all in on Trey Lance, but it damn sure doesn't seem like it. Alpha, I'll let you start this one off. What do you think?
This is another spot, guys, that I think we're going to see both offenses struggle. It's another underplay for me. I brought it up from 41.5 to 42. Both these teams, young, inexperienced quarterbacks, especially the 49ers. What happened?
You got to fix your mic. Your mic got a little jumbled around there.
How's it sound? Sound good?
No.
Here we go.
All right. I like the Bears in this spot. I know I just talked about how I like some of these dogs in this one, and I think this is one of my favorite ones so far, to be 100% honest. I think everyone's down on this Bears team, and kind of rightfully so. I don't think they're going to be necessarily great, but I do think this is a good spot for them to cover. I don't see them winning this game, but I think 7 is too steep of a number in this one, especially with the type of offense that San Francisco likes to run. They're going to run it down your throat. It's going to be a grinded out game. This isn't a team that's going to come out and try to just absolutely blast you out of the water. So I could definitely see this being a tight game, and I think that they cover the 7.
BB,
Mic check.
You're back. BB, you nailed it. 49ers, slowest pace of play last season. And I think that's only going to get slower with Trey Lance. This is a pseudo facto rookie starting, right? This guy didn't start much last year. He didn't play much at all. Will Jimmy G leading them, just to the championship game? Like, that's not obviously enough for the 49ers to retain him as a starting quarterback. Don't get me started on there. They re-signed Debo, but Debo's been injured this preseason. He's questionable to start week 1. I think he will go, but we just don't know if he'll be 100%. I like 2 things here. My official play here is Amon will be +7 on the Bears. I think this perception of the Bears as this terrible team and the 49ers are the Super Bowl ready team with this flashy new quarterback coming into town. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. I also like the under 41.5. The Niners are going to play slow. It's what they do. Run, one pass. Run, one pass. I don't think the Bears are going to go out there and pass a whole lot either. I think they're going to rely on David Montgomery to set a kind of a pace of play for them and let Justin Fields pick his spots. So I like the under, and I like the Bears +7 here.
Yeah, I'm on the under as well. Sorry, I got cut off. My mic had a little issues earlier, but under is one of my favorite plays of the week for everything that you just stated. Both offenses are going to come out very slow, both young and experienced quarterbacks. A lot of issues in San Francisco right now. Who's going to be the quarterback going forward? They clearly do not see that right now Trey Lance is the answer, or else they would not have brought back Jimmy G. A lot going on there. I think we're going to see a very run-dominant game on both sides of the ball. Give me the under. Under 42. Brought it up half point.
Nice. All right, guys. Let's keep moving. All right, Steelers, Bengals. Let's start with the home team, Cincinnati Bengals. Last time we saw them, they lost the Super Bowl. They had a hell of a game. They came from 1 inch away. If Aaron Donald was just 1 more inch away from Joe Burrow probably would have seen a wide open Jamar Chase down the field, and we would have a totally different narrative right now. But either way, the Bengals have nothing to put their head down about. They had a fantastic season last year. Joe Burrow is a star. Jamar Chase is a star. They got stars all over this team. I love their wide receiving core. Higgins, Boyd, and Chase. I'm not the biggest Joe Mixon fan in the world. I do think he's an adequate starting running back in this league. But when you have that offense, you're in a good spot. I'll say this last thing, and I'm actually going to throw it over to you, BBB, to give your play. The Bengals did, I think, the most important thing that any team did this offseason. They bolstered and focused on one thing and one thing only, their offensive line. And it's the only reason that they had issues last year. This defense is a formidable defense. They're not a top 10 defense, but they can get it done. They have a great secondary. This offense will go as far as the protection for Joe Burrow takes them. BBB, what do you think? And give us a little word about the Steelers so I didn't get a chance to speak about. They got a first-time starter.
Yeah, they got Mitch Trubisky, old Bears quarterback there. We just got done talking about the Bears a little bit there, but I think he's a formidable starter. He's going to be a game manager for them, and I think they're going to continue to do what they've done best. He's definitely an upgrade from Ben Roethlisberger, at least the current form that he's been of the last couple of years. But I do think it's an upgrade, and I know that sounds weird saying Mitch Trubisky is an upgrade, but I truly do think that. But I think the Steelers are going to continue to do what they've done for a while now. They're going to hand the ball off to Najee Harris. They're going to play good defense, hard defense. It's going to be a slow-paced, grinded out game. That's what they're going to make it into. And I'm taking the under in this one, guys. I think under 44.5. It's one of my favorite unders this entire week. And I think that Cincinnati's going to see a little bit of regression also from last year. They got, a lot of sophomores coming in. You've heard of the sophomore slump. And I'm not even saying they're just going to be non-factors. I'm just saying they aren't going to be what they were last year. I think it's going to take, they had the new factor, the wow factor. Teams have had an entire year to game plan, look at them. They had the Cinderella Super Bowl run. I think that they can still be a great team, but I think especially week one, you give Mike Tomlin this much time to game plan for you. He's been known as one of the best coaches in the league. I think he gets it done. I think this defense steps up for the Steelers. I think we see under 44.5 hit by a good margin, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that angle that you're taking for sure. This is my teaser of the week, the first leg of my teaser. So I'm taking the Bengals at a -0.5. I do think they win this one outright, and that's all that we need to happen on that angle. But touching about this game individually, I think it's going to be a really tough offensive year for Pittsburgh. I don't think people are talking enough about the injury that Najee Harris has in his foot. He has a Liz Frank sprain, which does not get better. It's a pain threshold. It's not going to improve. And the more the year goes, it's going to wear on him. So I really think it's going to be a big deal for the Steelers all year long, Najee's foot injury. But with this specific game, I think the Bengals at least win it by the 0.5. Give me the Bengals on the first leg of my teaser.
Nobody has spoken about the Steelers' Achilles heel and why they've been able to get away with it for so long. Their offensive line is absolutely garbage. It's one of the worst offensive lines in the league. And they've been getting away with it because Big Ben is just rumbling, stumbling, tumbling, somehow never getting tackled. I don't see Mitch Trubisky doing much of that. I think that line is bad, and we're going to see that very quickly. Look, this wide receiver team that they got, it's very solid. Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool. They just drafted George Pickens, who I love out of Georgia, a real hard-nosed, no BS type of wide receiver. And I do believe Najee's injury is like Alpha said, it's worrisome because it's a pain threshold thing. It's just get a shot, numb it out, and see how far you can go. But God forbid it gets worse, you're in Chet Holmgren territory. You're out for a long time.
100%.
That defense, what can I say about the defense? They're the Steelers. This is what they do. TJ Watt's one of the best defensive players in the league. He'll anchor that D, and the rest of that
Is he playing?
Will follow.
Is he playing? Because he got that chop block right before the end of the year. I believe he has the same injury as what's his name from the
Giants. Not on the
Thibodeau.
injury report. I'm looking at it right now. Not on the injury report, TJ Watt. So it looks like he's playing. This is what I want to say about this game, and I'll give my pick right after. If the Steelers have over 8 wins, I never want to hear any conversation about who the best coach in football is. It's Mike Tomlin, and it's not even close. The fact that they're over under is already saying that he's the best coach. But I don't even want to hear that talk if they get it. I'm rolling with the under here. I think Pittsburgh's defense can do enough to stifle Cincinnati's offense, and I just don't think Pittsburgh's offense is going to be able to do much here. I see an under, and I see a Bengals win. But official play is the under on 45. I'm buying it a half going up.
Love it.
Let's move it on, guys. Let's move it on. We are rolling to the team that we just watched for the last couple of weeks on Hard Knocks, the Detroit Lions. Before I even get into it, do you guys buy into anything about the team that's on Hard Knocks? Everybody kind of loves to bet them week one because you fall in love with the little stories that you see on social media, and if you watch the show, do you guys buy into any of that?
No.
I think it depends on the team a little bit, and it depends on how much came from it. I don't know if that much people really paid too much attention to this one, to be 100% honest. Other than getting a couple Dan Campbell moments where he had I'm going to run through a brick wall and stuff, and which everyone thought was cool, but that kind of faded away, and I think people kind of forgot about it. So I don't think we're really at that point with the Lions to where it's going to move the lines necessarily.
Respect.
I would agree.
All right, let me give some background on these teams. We got Philadelphia Eagles, who somehow are the favorites to win the NFC East this year, overtaking the Cowboys. You got Jalen Hurts. He's coming into a big year. This is a huge year for Jalen Hurts because the Eagles traded to have 2 first-round picks in this next year's draft. And we all know what this next year's draft is about. It is the QB draft we've been waiting for a couple of years now. So I think Jalen Hurts is a prove it or lose it type of year for him. He's got Devontae Smith. He's got a new shiny wide receiver toy in A.J. Brown. And on the other side, you got the Lions. Jared Goff, guys. Fun little halfway nugget to start it off. 5-0 against the spread in week 1 in his career. The spread is 4. What do you guys think? The Lions, DeAndre Swift, supposed to have a better year. They drafted a wide. Who did they draft? Why am I blanking on? Who they drafted off? Jameson Williams, but he won't be ready for a while. What do you guys think? Alpha, we'll start off with you.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because I do like the Lions this year, and I do like the Lions in dog spots as a +4. In this one, I'm definitely taking the Lions as a +4. I do not believe in the Jalen Hurts wagon. I do not believe in the Philadelphia Eagles to be the best team in the NFC East. We all know I'm a Giants fan, but I think the Cowboys are the clear-cut best team in the NFC East. It has absolutely nothing to do with my Giants fandom here. I think the Cowboys are a much better team all the way around than the Eagles. I don't really understand when you look at the futures here that the Eagles are +130 to win the NFC East and the Cowboys are +160. So, I mean, they obviously see a lot more in the Eagles than I do, but because of that, I still think there's going to be a ton of value going against the Eagles early on. Give me the Lions +4.
I'm actually pretty high on the Eagles this year. I think they're going to have a good year. I think Hurts is going to take a step up. I think he's going to be a little bit better of a passer this year. But that being said, I do like the Lions as well. I don't think they were as bad of a team as they showed last year or their record indicates. I think it's really – this is a really good line here. I think this is a sharp line, +4. I told you I'm going to be with some dogs. I'm rolling with the Lions here. I'm right there with you, Alpha. I think that this is a good spot for them. And maybe I am buying into what Hefe talked about with the narrative of
you are.
Maybe I am. I think Dan Campbell's fired up.
You all are. It's actually it's hilarious that Alpha thinks he isn't because he also is. Because if you guys, the Lions had the second worst record in the NFL last year. You guys are already out the bait, taking them at a +4.
I'll tell you what. I haven't watched a single episode of Hard Knocks because I didn't.
Dude.
How did they do against the spread? How did they do against this? I don't care who won and lost. I'm not betting a money line. How did the Detroit Lions do against the spread?
I believe they had the most losses 3 points or less last year. I believe.
Correct. They were one of the best cover teams in the NFL, and I don't think they're getting the respect here. It's over the 3-point line. If this was at a flat 3, I probably wouldn't play this. It'd be a stay off. But because you can get it at a 4, and I think this game could end by a field goal either way, tons of value on the Lions, in my opinion.
I only say this because I am right with you guys. I'm on the Lions +4 here.
Let's go.
I really think people aren't realizing that maybe this team just needed a while to kind of get gelled together. Dan Campbell, first-year head coach last year. Now it's second year. I think they believe in him. And sometimes that's all that it matters, man. Just believe. Jared Goff kind of came off to me as a guy in LA who didn't give a crap. Just pay me my money, and I don't care. I made it Super Bowl my first year. I'm good. And now I think for some reason he might give a crap. I like DeAndre Swift. I think if he stays healthy, he can be a workhorse running back. And
I'll tell you what.
Yes, please.
I'll tell you what this reminds me of. In college football, Northwestern, they don't always have the talent, but Pat Fitzgerald, he's just almost the same type of guy as Dan Campbell, just the fired up, brings out the talent. And like it seems like for the past 5 years, every other year they go 9-4, then they go down to 3 and 9. And it's like, he just gets the most out of these guys. They got all the restrictions of academics, and it's kind of like the Lions. They got restrictions on the talent pool there, but I think they get the most out of what they have for their guys.
I think the Lions have a sneaky good wide receiver core. I'm on Ross St. Brown is coming into his own. The acquisition of DJ Chark as a real 2 is good. And TJ Hawkinson has the ability to be George Kittle. He just has to learn how to run routes better. He's a great blocking tight end, a fantastic blocking tight end.
And good catching tight end.
Good catching tight end too.
Talking boppers is not bad.
But if he becomes the route runner that like a George Kittle is, we are talking about a tight end that could be a Pro Bowl year in, year out. I'm with the Lions on the +4 in week 1. Absolutely.
Also, with you, just to bounce off what you said, Swift is an animal in the receiving game. I think he's another massive asset to that passing game.
If he is healthy, I think he's a top 5 running back.
I think Swift could have a monster year this
healthy.
year.
Remember, guys, they invested in that line last year. I can't remember the gentleman's name, the offensive lineman they drafted last year.
Penei Sewell.
There you go. This year they go to the other side of the line. They get Hutchinson. They're building good core players, guys, and they just have a good chemistry there. I like it. I like what I'm seeing. And don't forget, they get Jameson Williams is going to be a star.
Exactly. And then Goff is like the perfect QB for what they have right now, too. People forget he went to the Super Bowl. He's not that guy that's going to put your team up over the edge, I don't think, but he's exactly what they need right now. He's a game manager. He can win some more of these games. I think like you said, this team being together more, they're going to be a lot better this year.
I would agree.
All right, guys, keep it moving. What do we got next? Oh, beautiful division matchup. This game has storylines all over. Let's start off with that. It's Tuesday. We're filming it. It's Tuesday morning. And the Patriots are already in Miami practicing. This is not something that happens. Usually, if you have a Sunday game, you travel there Saturday evening. But they are so into this game that they're already in Miami practicing for that Miami weather. This is because Bill Belichick has lost 3 straight games in Miami for the first time ever in his career. And while you might think this is just a random week 1 game, no, this game means a lot, guys, a lot. The spread here is the Dolphins are home favorites, 3.5. We all know what the Dolphins story is. They went out, they splurged on Tyreek Hill. Tua Tagovailoa has his big star, shiny wide receiver. They got Jalen Waddle in the slot, who's one of my favorite sophomore wide receivers. This defense is the same defense from last year. They have a great secondary, linebacker core and mediocre line, but the secondary is strong. On offense, we know what they got. I don't know. They still have 7 running backs. I just know that Chase Edmonds is the lead back there. I know that they cut Sony Michel, but I still think they have Gaskin, Mostert, Ahmed, right? All these guys are still on the team.
I believe they have most of them still, but I mean.
So, all right. BBB, what do you think, man? Are the Patriots going to start 0-1 to start the year?
Look, as far as a side on this one, this is going to be an evaluation game for me. One thing I do think we see out of this game, though, I think we see a lot of points, and I'm going to be rocking with the over on this one. It's one of the only over spots that I'm actually really looking at, because I think a lot of these totals are a bit high. Bettors beware, because I think these books know, guys, that you want to come in, you're watching it, you're fired up, and you want to see points. This is one where I actually do think we can see it. I don't want to totally buy in on the Tyreek Hill, all these new additions and stuff. They're going to score 1 billion points, because I think that could be definitely a trap here. But I think New England's going to come in. They're going to do their little check downs, and Mac Jones is going to game manage his way to 21, 24 points-ish. And then, I think we'll see the explosive plays. I think outside of the explosive plays, though, I think Miami is going to struggle in this game. So it depends on how much they are able to get explosive plays in this one. And that could come down to, again, the Miami weather being worn down and just miscommunication, because it only takes one to have these big plays. You've seen, year in and year out with, at Kansas City, Tyreek, he only needs one play of you slacking, and he's going to burn you deep. Hopefully, Tua can get him the ball there. I'm rocking with the over on this one. I'm interested to hear your guys' perspective on this game.
So for me, I'll be quick. I have no action. If you were to ask me who we're going to win this game without any line, without any information, I would say I think Miami wins by a field goal. The line is 3 points. I think it's sharp. I don't think there's a good edge on the side.
Can I ask you a question, Alpha?
Yeah. Yes.
Who do you think it's more important to win this game?
The Patriots. I think it's more important, but I think that the Dolphins are going to get up. I like what they're doing in Miami.
I think it's way more important for the Dolphins to win this game.
I do too.
So much. If they lose this game, the narrative is you could just already see the narrative is right there in front of you. Tua's not it. Tyreek can't help. Nobody can help. They can't even beat the Patriots, who aren't even the Patriots anymore. If the Patriots lose, it'll be the same narrative. Who cares? We didn't believe in them anyway.
Totally disagree.
With that being said,
if the Patriots lose, all the fans are going to be like, we're really starting out again, and we're losing to Miami for the 4th straight time in Miami. If Miami loses, they're kind of supposed to lose to New England. Not necessarily right now, but in general. The Patriots are supposed to be.
Whoa. That is such a 2010 narrative you just said. The Dolphins are supposed to beat the Patriots. Look at these rosters, man. Who's the wide receiver one in New England right now? Devontae Parker? The Dolphins just let him walk.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I think the public narrative, not what I think it actually is. Like I said, I think Miami wins this game by 3, but for the public percentage and how important it is to these teams, for the New England, the historic New England Patriots, this is a bigger game to them, in my opinion.
Respect. All right, guys, I'm doing a prop here. This is a scary one, but I think he has something to prove. I'm taking Tua Tagovailoa over 1.5 touchdowns. That's at minus 115 odds. I think he comes out here and I think he absolutely he rips on the ball. I think he's going to throw. Chase Edmonds is their lead back, and as we know from his days in Arizona, he is a pass catching back, and I think that's a hell of a safety blanket for the Dolphins and for Tua. I love Waddle as a non-lead wide receiver. I love him in the slot. Him and Tua already have a great rapport, and as long as Tua can throw the ball over 40 yards, Tyreek's going to be there. Let's just hope the ball meets him. So I'm going to take over 1.5 touchdowns on Tua, throwing touchdowns on Tua in the first game. It's a minus 115 odds. This is my official play here. Let's keep it rolling, guys.
Pray for no pass interferences in the end zone.
Ravens, Jets. Let's start off by saying the news.
Game of the year.
The news as of right now, Tuesday afternoon, is that Joe Flacco's starting, but Zach Wilson might be ready. I would be shocked. No, I wouldn't, because the Jets are not that sort of a franchise. Shocked if they push out Zach Wilson here in week 1.
No way.
So we're gonna assume that it's Flacco. And with the assumption that it's Flacco and it's a 7 line, I'll go first here. Guys, I'm taking the Jets plus 7. This line, and I'm just doing it based on this line should be closer to 9.5, 10. It's Joe freaking Flacco leading the New York freaking Jets, okay, who are going to roll out people like Elijah Moore and Daxton Berrios, Corey Davis as wide receivers, Michael Carter, Breece Hall as running backs. Have no idea what their tight ends are. The defense is better because they're getting basically free agent additions that decided just not to play the last couple of years, like CJ Mosley. And who's the man on the line who got his ACL injured last year, but is starting? This is a big signing from Cincinnati 2 years ago, defensive player.
Wasn't it not Fant?
No. Come on the line.
Dwayne Brown?
No. Defensive line. They have the big defensive line.
D-line.
I can't think of his name, but he was a big time free agency addition that they added 2 years ago. He injured himself in the preseason, never played last year. Now he's back, fully healthy. I don't think the Jets should be this close, and because of that, I'm going to take the Jets. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson has everything in the universe to ball out for. He is trying to get Deshaun Watson guaranteed money. He's his own agent. It's a whole different story. But damn, man, can somebody help him out from the front office? Rashad Bateman is the wide receiver 1. I get it. Mark Andrews is a pseudo wide receiver 1. But this is tough pickings. No J.K. Dobbins to start the year. You got Mike Davis as the starting running back, I believe, for the first 4 weeks. I don't know. Am I missing something? BB, am I missing something?
No, I don't think you are. I'm right there with you. I'm on the Jets plus 7. I think it's a line read. And like you said, that what weapons do they have on offense outside of Lamar Jackson? I understand he is an insane weapon in himself, but I don't know if he's going to be enough to just absolutely run up the score on this Jets team that's gotten a little bit better. They've added some weapons. They've added enough to be competitive. I don't think we're going to see as many games as we saw last year where they're just they're the laughing stock of the league and they're on the come on man every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I think this being a touchdown line is very indicative of the fact that this is going to end like by 4-3 points. I think that the Jets cover, especially with it being a home opener. Everyone's got hope week 1, guys. Everyone's 0-0 to start off, and I think that they come out a little fired up, and I think this they cover. So I'm rocking with the Jets plus 7.
Alpha, can I ask something? Don't you think the Jets have a good chance to be this year's Lions? They're still going to lose, but they're going to be damn close.
Absolutely. I love what the Jets have done. I really have. And I think you're kind of discrediting what they've done in this offense in the offseason to the offense.
Ooh.
They drafted Garrett Wilson. They have Corey Davis, and Elijah Moore is a very good receiver. I'm very high on him. I like the signing of Dwayne Brown, the offensive line. Elijah Vera Tucker's coming along as well. And they get CJ Mosley back, and they just restructured his deal.
I got to look up
be adding two more pieces. Another one, you said they don't really have a good tight end option. They got CJ Uzama, who I know
I couldn't remember who they signed. Yes. CJ
Uzama. I like what the Jets are doing. All that being said, without having their number 1 quarterback, Zach Wilson, this week, I love the under in this spot. From all the different points that we've made, Baltimore is going to be a run-heavy team all year long. You take a look at their depth chart.
Joe Flacco's elite.
It was Carl Lawson. Carl Lawson is who they signed 2 years ago from Cincinnati. They paid him hella money. He tore his ACL in the preseason last year. Now he's back to starting. Sorry.
Joe Flacco was a Super Bowl winner. And you got to put some respect on his name.
I'm not clowning on the Jets' first round picks. I love Sauce. I think Sauce is a star.
So do I.
I don't know if he's going to be Darrelle Revis off the get. I understand in the preseason he wasn't even targeted, but it's the preseason. I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to be scared to target Sauce. You know what I mean? I do like Gary Wilson, but my whole point is it's Joe Flacco week 1. I'm just talking about week 1 right now. I think this line should be closer to 9.5. It's Joe Flacco. If this was Zach Wilson starting 7, I understand. But right now, as we stand, 7 for Joe Flacco, it ain't making sense to me. And Joe Flacco is more of a game manager. He's not going to make mistakes.
Exactly.
So I'm rolling with the Jets here. Also, guys, Wink Martindale, no more at the Ravens coordinator. They got a new coordinator there. That's going to shake some things up.
Does it give you some confidence knowing that Joe Flacco's versing Baltimore? No, it was
that team has turned over 17 times.
Yeah, I would agree. But yeah, on my play again, guys, I love the under in this matchup. I think it's going to be a lot of running on both sides. So that's my official play.
Jets plus 7 for me. BBB Jets plus 7 for you.
Lock it in.
All right, guys, let's rock and roll. What do we got next? Jags Commanders. Somehow we are still in the 1 o'clock slates, and my God, we still have a couple to go. Okay. Let's start off with the Washington Commanders, which I'm going to try so hard to not call them the R word. Carson Wentz. I have a question. Is this his last shot?
Before we even get into anything, are you guys betting this game? I'm going to immediately tell you that I have zero expectations and have zero understanding what the Jaguars
it's week 1 NFL. We bet every single game. That's the rule. Everybody knows it. Continue.
No action for me. I was just curious if you guys like anything. These are 2 teams that are really hard to read, in my opinion. 2 of maybe the hardest teams to read with all the new pieces they have, with a second-year quarterback in Jacksonville. There's just a lot of things going on with both of these organizations. It's tough for me to make.
I do have a play, but answer my question about Carson Wentz. This is a guy who was a MVP candidate, if you remember, goes down with a crazy injury. Nick Foles taking him to the Super Bowl. We forget who Carson Wentz is. Now he goes to Indianapolis. He absolutely made a fool of himself in a game versus Jacksonville. Now he's in Washington. He's a Commander. Is this his last chance to be a starter in this league?
Yes, and he's not going to do well. Does anybody expect Carson Wentz to do well? Anybody?
They said it was his last chance last time. Look, whether you believe it should be his last chance or not, I don't know if it necessarily will. Maybe he goes as a backup for a year or so, but I think he gets another shot.
Last chance to be a starting quarterback.
I still don't think it really is. I think he gets another shot somewhere.
I don't think it's either. I honestly think no matter how the season goes, he is the Commander starting quarterback next year because I don't think they have Super Bowl aspirations here. And I think the difference is the Colts really believe that they are a Super Bowl team. We'll get to them later, but they really do believe that they were a Super Bowl team last year. And this year. But let me get to this game. I am not a Carson Wentz guy. I think he's not a good quarterback. And I think to be a good quarterback, the only reason he looked half as good as he did last year is because he had the best running back in the game. Antonio Gibson, I hate to say what I'm about to say, I hope it doesn't go viral, is only starting this game because his backup got shot. Literally, that's the only reason. Brian Robinson was getting this job. Antonio Gibson has a job until Brian Robinson heals from a gun wound, which is wild to say.
Yes and no. Yeah, I mean, Antonio Gibson was going to be on this roster. He was going to get action, and this is a rookie we're talking about. So if Gibson has a good year and starts off strong, they're not going to rush back Brian.
You don't put your RB1 on punt return, kick return duties. That is the most insane thing you could ever do.
But he wasn't the RB1 at the time. Now he is. I'm sure he's not going to be doing that.
All right. Regardless, let's move on.
He's just not. He's not what he was. He has too many issues. Right. He can't hang on to the ball.
I have a lot of questions about this team. Is Scary Terry still a good wide receiver? This guy.
Yeah, I think he has a bounce back here.
This guy had a lot of hype around him, and last year he just went. Yeah, but he didn't have Heineke throwing to him. I mean, I get it. Is he a wide receiver one? Does he have a bounce back here, BTV?
I think he has a bounce back year. I think that the expectations got put pretty high, and also the environment he was in was not the greatest. Regarding Carson Wentz, I do think he is an NFL level quarterback. He's just not going to ever put you over the edge. He's not going to take you to the Super Bowl. He's not going to do everything you want to have. So I think, having, an NFL level quarterback will also help some. I think Heineke was more of a backup level. He can get you by. He can have an amazing week like he did that one week where they were in the playoffs. He can give you that, but it's not going to be a week in and week week out. And that's kind of almost how Carson Wentz is, but I think he can do a little more consistency, not as high of a ceiling, but not as low of a floor.
All right, let's switch over to the other side. Let's go quick here. I'll go first. Jags. I think Etienne Lawrence could either be lethal or a complete bust and nothing in between. These guys are either going to have the chemistry they had in Clemson and it's going to be scary, or he's just not going to be what we thought. I do not love the money that they gave Christian Kirk. I do not think he is a bona fide wide receiver one, and I think he's going to be forced to be that here. I don't love that. I don't understand what they're doing with that wide receiver room, to be quite honest with you, because I really liked LaVisca in there as a big body wide receiver. They just shipped him off to Carolina, I believe, last week. I can't even, guys, who's their wide receiver two? Can somebody jog my memory? Jacksonville, wide receiver two?
I guess it depends on are you saying Kirk's number one?
Marvin Jones.
Okay.
Zay Jones.
It's just
right now it's slotted as Marvin Jones. Zay Jones is a 3, and they added Evan Ingram at tight end.
I think they're looking for a more speed offense. It's almost like they're trying to build what they had at Clemson. They're trying to take a Clemson.
They are, but that offense. That offense only works if you have a great offensive line, which I understand they invested in Brandon Sheriff. Okay, I'm taking the Jags here, guys. I'm taking the Jags plus the points, plus 2.5. I'm actually going to buy it to 3. Jaguars plus 3. I think they keep it close. They might lose, though.
Nothing for me. If I were to take anything, I would take the under because I think both these teams are going to struggle. But no action, no official play.
Yeah, not my favorite play of the week, but I do like the Jags. I think that they can possibly even win this one outright. I think this one's kind of a toss-up here, so I like the dog here in week 1.
Let's not forget the big change they made, the most important change, the coaching change. So I expect a lot different.
I think that was a huge distraction last year as well. I think that'll only benefit them. Not
all
having
right,
that
guys.
Just absolute
this next game we got is to some the game of the week. Storylines all over. I'll get into it, and then I'll throw it over to you, Alpha. Browns-Panthers. Basically, Baker versus his ex. We all know what's going on with Deshaun Watson. We've got to talk about that. Jacoby Brissett is your starting quarterback until, November. So get to know him, love him, because he's what you got, Cleveland. This is all about Baker, in my opinion. Baker beat out Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's now injured. I don't think we're going to see Sam Darnold ever. Baker is now in Carolina, where he will once again have an elite. This is the thing. People are saying to change the scenery for Baker, and I'm looking at it. It's the same freaking team with the worst defense, right? You got an elite running back. Okay, maybe Chubb is not in CMC category, but elite is elite. Top 10 running back. We can both agree. Chubb and CMC are both top 10. Still got the elite running back.
I'd put them both top 5.
Chubb top 5. That's a conversation we can get into right now. Really quick. CMC, JT, Derrick Henry,
Alvin, Eckler,
Kamara. I'm even going to put Saquon above him. I'll even put DeAndre Swift above him.
We'll be here for a long time.
Never mind. Keep it going. This line has flip-flopped. This was the Browns as favorites. Now it's the Panthers as favorites. Some places as high as 3, but it settled as minus 2.5. 81% of the betting public is backing Baker revenge spot here. DJ Moore's his wide receiver 1. Laviska's probably wide receiver 2 now. I'd give him wide receiver 2, right? I can't really remember who the Panthers drafted in the first round, but I know that they have their star cornerback from last year come back, J.C. Horn. That's a big one. Who you got, Alpha? Who you rolling with?
Remember that they have Terrence Marshall and Robbie Anderson, so they have some interesting playmakers.
Robbie Anderson will retire tomorrow and then come back the next day and then forget the games are on Sunday, and he has his own issues.
Yeah, 100%. But going to this individual game, I'm riding with the Browns, buying it up to a +3. I do not believe in the Baker revenge tour, and I do believe in the Browns. I think their roster is a lot better, especially the defensive side. They're going to get it done. It's a hot, trendy, sexy pick. Taking the Panthers, revenge game, blah, 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 blah. Let's go, Browns. Browns get it done, +3. I think they win outright.
BB?
This is the one where the narrative actually plays through. I think Baker's a good quarterback. I think he was battling a lot of injuries. People forget he brought this team from literally poverty into this, and I think that he's literally talked about the motivation. He's always played better. He's one of those guys that literally plays better with the motivation. I think he wakes up feeling dangerous today, to quote Baker Mayfield. I think he wakes up feeling dangerous. I think he has plenty of passing yards. If you want to look for a prop there, I will be on his over passing yards. And I'm taking the Panthers money line here. I can get it at -130, -135 in some places. I think Baker Mayfield has his revenge.
Have they got a kicker yet? I know their kicker broke his leg in warm-ups right before the game. So
we're not going to waste anybody's
Kickers are a
time.
dime a dozen.
All right, guys. Here's my simple analysis here. The Browns are a better team than the Panthers. It's just that simple. They have a better wide receiving core. They have a better defense. The only thing the Panthers have better is they have a better running back, and it's not by much because the combo of Chubb and Hunt is pretty elite. Jacoby Brissett, this ain't his first rodeo. He's led a team before. He can be a game manager, and that's all he needs to do. People forget what the Browns have on defense. In my opinion, the best defensive player, probably behind Aaron Donald, is Myles Garrett, and he's on this team. Also, Denzel Ward, who I thought was absolutely terrible pick in that draft when they picked him 4th overall in the midst of all that talent, is proven to be one of the best cornerbacks in the league. This team is good. This team is ready to go, and that's why they invested Deshaun Watson all that money, because they believe they have Super Bowl aspirations. Sorry?
And they got him a receiver. They do have Amari Cooper as well, new acquisition.
And Alfred, thanks for bringing that up, because can I ask you a question? What is it about Amari Cooper that makes us just not remember that he exists?
Route running, because he's not a flashy. You're not going to see a bajillion, he breaks a tackle, goes for 90, but he runs routes probably better than any receiver in the league. He's one of the best route runners in the game. So
he never seems to be in a big market either.
I mean, he was just in Dallas.
But he's behind every other star.
Biggest market in football.
I mean, yeah, but
okay, when he was in Dallas, he was a forgotten option. He was okay, we have CD.
It makes no sense. This is a wide receiver. Yeah. This is a
they didn't utilize him.
All right,
they didn't utilize him when he was with Dallas.
I think David Njoku has a breakout year at tight end.
I can see that as well.
He's an absolute stud at tight end.
But how many years in a row have we said this? I know.
Yeah. This is my last year.
I'm an Njoku guy. But
I had a draft yesterday. Full disclosure, I drafted Njoku as my tight end, and literally in my head, I'm like, this is the last year I'm doing this and believing in this guy. But I believe in him. Big body, big hands, big catch radius, and that's all you need for a game manager quarterback like Jacoby Brissett. Browns +3 to be safe, but I'm even going to sprinkle a little on the money line, baby. Let's keep it moving. All right, Colts, Texans, 2 teams that are going in totally 2 different directions. The Colts, Matt Ryan, hello. Carson Wentz, goodbye. Jonathan Taylor, best running back in football. Michael Pittman, a true wide receiver 1. They draft a great rookie, in my opinion, Alec Pierce, who's given me Hunter Renfrow route running ability vibes. And now you got the Texans. Davis Mills. They draft the cornerback that I'm forgetting out of LSU in their 3rd overall pick. Derek Stingley Jr., just remembered his name. I don't see that being much of an impact on the field. On the offensive side, it seems like they're rolling with a rookie running back Damon Pierce. That's his name. Damon Pierce looks good, 4th round pick. Their wide receivers are who they had last year. Brandon Cook's still running out there. Wide receiver 1. Don't expect much out of the Texans this year. But we have an 8 line here. This is an 8-point line. This game is in Houston. It is Matt Ryan's first game in Indianapolis. His first game ever starting for a team that's not the Falcons. Alpha, what do you think here? This could be a teaser spot. This could be a layoff. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely a teaser spot for me. I think you could definitely take this one down. I'm in the same boat you are. But before we talk fully about the Texans, can we just talk about Marlon Mack? What a freaking disappointment, man. They're saying his career is going to be over. They elected to not put him on the practice squad. This guy was one of the better running backs in the league just a very short time ago. He has no job. He was cut the other day and was not even given the practice squad. So to me, that's crazy. But this is the other leg of my teaser here. I got it down earlier today. Let me get the official line at 1.5. So I got it at -110. It's Colts -1.5, Bengals -0.5. That's my official teaser of the week.
So let me just follow up on that, BB, and I'll let you go last. I'm also taking the Colts here as my first leg of my teaser. We haven't got to my second game yet. I'm taking them down to a 2. Matt Ryan's a great quarterback. He's going to fit in right into this Frank Reich system, I think, easily. With Jonathan Taylor behind him, I think Matt Ryan's going to excel, actually. I think he's going to do better than Carson Wentz. All he has to do is not make that ridiculous Carson Wentz interception that he does every time.
Yeah. Quickly, because I think the line is currently at -7, -110. So it's moved a little bit from earlier today. So you can get it at a flat 1 right now. Just a heads up. It has moved.
It is at 7. You're 100% correct. It is at 7. And here's a funny one for you, Alpha. 50-50 split on the 7. So people are not buying that They can't be buying that Houston's going to come out here and play better.
It's 50-50, but we're seeing some extra money coming on the Texans. That's why you're getting a better discount on your line. For
which I don't. Am I missing something?
No, I mean, it's a big line, but I feel so comfortable with the Colts winning this game by at least one. If you can get it one in the teaser,
Yeah, I think the Colts walk out of here with a win. I think the Colts definitely walk out of here.
I think the Colts most likely win this game, but I think people are very, very, very sleeping on Davis Mills. I think he is I'll give you more of a fantasy side than a bet side. I think Davis Mills as a fantasy QB is the sleeper of a lifetime. I think you throw him, you're not going to have to draft him in front of anybody. You're probably going to be able to take him with your last pick. I think he's a great option. They're going to be down in almost every single game. The guy proved last year he's had plenty of big yardage games. He can throw. I mean, I know you got Hefe here looking at me like I'm crazy, but just wait.
It's just that I would take the opposite angle. I wouldn't take Davis Mills in fantasy. I take the wide receivers. Cooks, Nico Collins. These are guys that are going to get garbage time points. I don't know if I trust Davis Mills because those throws are going to come with interceptions.
He's not a big interception guy. I trust you guys to go look at some of the stats from last year. This guy's I think he's gonna have a bit of a breakout year. I mean, I think by breakout, I mean it's going to be fantasy wise.
Just had is OJ Howard. I like him as a second tight end there, possibly to get the lead job. This guy is if you guys remember, I mean, we're young enough. Well, I guess old enough to remember. OJ Howard at Alabama was an absolute star. He was supposed to be the greatest tight end we have ever seen in the NFL, and he just never got that chance in Tampa. And I think
speaking about OJ, how did he get cut from the Bills? That was such an opportunity.
I think if I can be honest with you, I think he really thought he could walk in there and fight with Dawson Knox for tight end one duties.
That's more
and I think he's searching for a tight end one opportunity, and that's why he took the job with the Texans. I think he can be a tight end one. I think he has a lot to prove himself.
Salty Giants fan here. He wanted to be a number one. He should have went to New York. Why the hell are you going to Davis Mills and over there? You're already in New York. True. Just drive down the highway and go to the Meadowlands. But don't get me started. It made no sense. Why
he's going 250 yards and 2 TDs at least every game.
There you go. All right, BBB, did you give your play on this game? I'm sorry.
This is a game I don't want to bet. Gotcha. It's going to be the trap of the year. I'm just going to tell you to take Davis Mills in fantasy football and move on.
Keep moving.
All right, guys. Game of the century. I'm not even going to intro it. I will intro it. All right. Giants, Titans. Because I felt like if I gave Alfred an intro, he would just scream, Giants, you don't need to know nothing else. Daniel Jones, MVP, we're not losing. Kenny Golladay is not 67 years old. He is 27 years old, and he will run routes. Let's be honest here. This is a prove-it year for probably every single New York Giant on the offensive side. Daniel Jones playing for his career. Saquon Barkley playing for his contract. Kenny Golladay playing for, I don't know, to not be on SportsCenter, not top 10 every week. I'm embarrassed by him.
Kenny Golladay
Tony playing to prove that he can understand a playbook. Wan'Dale Robinson playing to prove that he's a first-round pick. I can just keep going and going about the players that there are to what they have to prove on the Giants' offensive side. The Titans, though, before I get into it and leave it to you, Alpha, something's weird going on in Tennessee. It's just something is weird going on in Tennessee. Derrick Henry, Tannehill, they get rid of A.J. Brown, they replace him with Robert Woods. Something weird is going on. Alpha, before I give my pick, I'll let you give yours as the pseudo big-time Giants fan here.
Yeah, as you guys know, I do not bet Giants games. I'm biased. I tell everyone every time I can't. This is the one sports team every year that I like to sit down and watch and not have money on. That's the New York Giants for me. Betting on the New York Giants does not go well for anyone. Everybody knows that. It's a weird line, though, in this one. I mean, what do you think about the line here? I'm not going to have any action, but plus 5.5 seems like a lot on the Giants side. But yet again, new regime, new offense, new coordinators all over the board. It's tough to back this Giants without seeing a couple games under the new regime for anybody, in my opinion. What do you think, F?
I cannot take a side in this game. I have actually no idea what to expect, not out of the Giants. I think the Giants will come out very, very determined. I don't know what to expect out of the Titans. I don't know what better word to use. I think it's very tight over there. I think everybody's very tense in Tennessee. This is a team, they had the best record in the AFC last year. They got the bye. They were supposed to be the team that made it, and they just can't get out of their own way in the playoffs. Derrick Henry cannot stay healthy during the regular season. Tannehill is making mistakes, and he's proven to be exactly what we thought he was, a game manager. I don't know. Do you guys think Robert Woods is better than A.J. Brown? I don't.
I don't think A.J. Brown was anything great. I think he dropped the ball a lot and he's injury prone, but I also don't think anything's that great with Robert Woods either. I don't think either guy is going to be who gets you over the top at all.
Okay, well, I have a play for this game. It's a prop. Saquon rushing, receiving combo over 88.5. Saquon looking shifty in preseason. Shifty, fast, and something to prove. I think receiving-wise, he is a safety blanket for Daniel Jones to continue to do so. I think he can get 88 yards just on the ground. So I'm going to take 88.5 over rushing and receiving yards for Saquon. That's at minus 115 odds as my official play for this game.
I like it.
I love that. I think Saquon has a bounce back year this year. I think this is going to be like a big year for him. I think people are a little bit out on Saquon's Barkley. I think you got to circle the wagons and he's coming back. But this one, it's a no play for me. If you're going to bet this one off of a line, it's definitely a Giants play. This one screams Giants if you're just looking at the line. Being the unbiased, not New York Giants fan here, I would say it's a Giants play. But I'm no bet for me. There's plenty of other value that we're about to get into as well.
Do you feel the same? Do you feel the same way I do about the Titans, BBB? Something's going on.
Something's wrong. Yeah, and Man in the Back is telling us that there's no way this is line screams Giants. What from last year's performances tells you, you got the best team in the AFC versus the Giants who were, on sports that are not top 10 for every play of the game, coming out as a 5.5 point dog.
Guys, well, let's be real here. The Titans are a completely different roster. They had their chance. They're getting older and they're more banged up. Derrick Henry is not going to be the same guy anymore. I truly believe.
Agree more, man.
He's so banged up in his foot. It's years and years on carrying his weight. He's a bigger back. I think the Titans are in some trouble. I think that's why they went with Malik Willis. I think this is their last year with this main core, and they are going to redo everything for the start of the following season because
I totally agree with you, man. Even the drafting of Treylon Burks, I think, is weird. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's ready to be a wide receiver 1 or 2. Robert Woods is a very safe wide receiver 1, a great route runner, but he needs somebody behind him. And it ain't going to be Treylon Burks, in my opinion. So very weird. But I'm rolling with Saquon. BBB is rolling with the NFC East champion Giants. And Alpha just is going to stream at the TV for 3 hours.
100%. That's all that's going to happen in this game. I'll be with you guys, though. Very much looking forward to
one last thing I got to ask you guys. Do you guys think Daniel Jones is your future?
No.
I do not, but I'm not ready to quit on him. I want to see him get 1 year under a real offensive coordinator.
No.
Last year was a joke.
I think the Giants, I'll say this right now. Hot take. Ready? Here we go. The Giants week 1, 2023 starting quarterback will be Jimmy Garoppolo.
Ooh. Get off the show, close your browser, and don't put that crap on this organization. That is a horrible take. If we
would take Jimmy G for Danny Dimes any day of the week.
I just want to know who hurt you. Jimmy G is a quarterback that got to the Super Bowl, to the championship game, that is a game manager that minimizes mistakes and knows how to lead a team. He's a locker room guy, and he's a winner. That's
we're in a rebuild. It's a rebuild. A rebuild team doesn't get Jimmy Garoppolo. What the hell does Garoppolo do in 5 years for this organization?
How much longer do you want to rebuild for?
Thank you. Exactly. Oh my God.
But Garoppolo's not the guy.
We are rebuilding. You're staring at the rebuild. It's happening as we speak. You're saying that getting Jimmy Garoppolo is going to ruin a chance at a rebuild. No, it doesn't take draft picks to get him. You're still going to have our draft picks. We're going to suck this year. We're drafting good pieces on both sides of the ball. I love Thibodeau. I really do. I think we're drafting well for the first time in a while, and they need to develop. And I think a quarterback with some experience is the way to go.
Really, you want to get a 31-year-old Jimmy G at the start of next year going to be our future quarterback? We'll bring in a 31-year-old below average quarterback.
You're not signing him to a 10-year Alpha.
And I will sell Kenny Galladay for a bag of sour cream and onion chips any day of the week.
2 footballs. We'll take 2 footballs. Get him the hell out of New York. Highest paid receiver in football.
He should be.
Let's move. We can do this all day. We got to move. No, 100%. We can do this all day. Let's keep it moving.
Packers, Vikings, guys. All right, here we go. Vikings, new head coach, first time in a while. They got themselves the Rams offensive coordinator, Kevin O'Connell, I believe his name is. This is going to change a lot of philosophy here in Minnesota. This team is going to look a lot like the Rams offense. Fast-paced moving, A lot of movement on the offensive line, pre-snap movements, a lot of different from the previous coach and how they ran it. We're very interested to see how Kirk Cousins commands this offense. Dalvin Cook, is he still a top 5 running back? We spoke about this earlier. I think so. Justin Jefferson, I think, is going to have possibly the best wide receiving year out of any wide receiver this year. I look for him to have that type of a Cooper Cup season like Cooper had last year. Let's switch over to the pack. We all know what they lost. We all know what they kept. They still got Aaron Rodgers. They don't got Devontae. Wide receiver 1 is looking like Allen Lazard. They got a slew of young wide receivers that Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if he likes them or not, but if you listen to how he speaks, they're coming along. Still making mistakes, though. I like Romeo Doubs. I like Watkins. Randall Cobb's been there, I don't know, for forever. I know he went to Houston for a while, but we don't pretend that like that didn't happen. And here's the thing. I think the Packers are the best defense in the NFL. They drafted and only made that defense better. Last year, they had the second best defense in the NFL, and this year they used 2 first-round picks on defensive players from Georgia, and I think they are loaded in every single phase of that defense. When Aaron Rodgers won his only Super Bowl, the Green Bay Packers had the best defense in the league, and their offense was nowhere near the top 10. It was between 10 and 15. I think that's where we're headed here. I'm taking the Packers here on the money line in this game. This is Aaron freaking Rodgers. Do not doubt Aaron freaking Rodgers. He's going for a 3rd MVP in a row, and I just don't freaking believe in Kirk Cousins. I'm sorry.
Let me tell you when you doubt Aaron Rodgers. It's week 1. I don't know if you remember last year's week 1 when they got absolutely blown out by the Saints.
This ain't that.
It's a little different, but everyone knows this is when Aaron Rodgers goes
if I'm wrong, I believe that had to be a primetime game, right?
Shrooms. He goes and does LSD while he's on it's his off season. So I think he comes out a little flat. He doesn't have chemistry. That's one thing he's complained about. He has no chemistry with any of his wide receivers. The one guy he liked, they shipped off. I think the offense is going to struggle some. I think this Vikings team is legit. I think these two are going to be battling it out for the top of this division, but I think these are both amazing teams. And I think
really hot take you just made there. Because I don't think you're right. I don't think the Bears have a real chance here. Smoldering hot take.
Did I say Bears?
No, you said these 2 teams are going to be fighting out for the division. I'm saying like the Bears really have a small.
Okay, well,
or wait, the Lions have a chance.
I think these 2 teams are going to be like top NFC teams, and they're both in the same division. You don't always see that. These 2 are going to be huge contenders. I think people are sleeping on Minnesota. I think Green Bay, like you said, their defense is going to carry them through a lot. And eventually Aaron Rodgers will get that chemistry with some of these receivers. They got some good guys. They got a couple guys that are basically no names like they always do. Torrey, drafted. I think that he's going to be good in the slot. I think that they could definitely build over time, though. I think that's going to take time. He's been very adamant about he can't trust any of his guys. So I like that. I like the Vikings to get week 1. I think they split the season series. I think Green Bay gets the win next time at home.
Yeah.
I lean the Packers. I have no official play yet. I probably will by Sunday because this is just such a good game. I'm going to need to have some action on. But I do want to touch quickly on the Packers. I really don't think they're going to hurt that much on the receiving end. Getting Robert Tonyan back to me is going to be absolutely huge. Sammy Watkins' speed is going to be great for Aaron Rodgers. And Allen Lazard is a formidable wide receiver. Stick Randall Cobb in there as well. They have a decent receiving core. I know everyone's saying they have no receivers anymore, but it's not as bad as really is portrayed.
All they need is that number 1 defense to be the number 1 defense. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. Great game. Next one we're getting into Chiefs and Cardinals. Out of Arizona, Kyler Murray is paid. He has a new wide receiver in Hollywood Brown, who will be the wide receiver 1 until Hopkins comes back in week 7. Don't know how I feel about that. James Conner is now your RB1 with really no big RB2. Chase Edmonds gone. That defense got a little worse. They lost Chandler Jones. They did not get much better, in my opinion. That Kyler has to progress. This team starts hot and ends cold. With that being said, they're facing the Chiefs, who I know, oh my God, they lost Tyreek Hill. But it's time for Patrick Mahomes to prove that he's the best quarterback in the league, and I think he'll do just fine with Juju, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Mecole Hardman, and oh, by the way, Travis Kelce's still there. CH, big year for him. Time to show why you're a first-round pick. I'm rolling with the Chiefs here. It's my other leg of the teaser. I'm buying it down from 6 to a pick'em. So my full teaser is Chiefs at a pick'em and Colts -1.
Line's currently live at 5.5. It's actually moved in the last couple minutes. So you can actually get that where Yeah, it's the same thing essentially. But I like the over in this spot. I think we're going to see a ton of points. I think both defenses are going to struggle and both offenses are going to come out absolutely firing in this matchup. One of the only overs I'm playing on this week, as BBB said earlier, I'm on the same wavelength as him. I like taking a lot of unders on week one, but this is not one I see.
I like that. I like that over. I like that over. The Chiefs lose their defensive leader in Tyrann Mathieu, and I don't think they really did much to replace anybody on that side.
I can't believe that they just let him walk like that. He wanted to stay too.
Yeah, I don't know what was it, a payment issue? It had to be dollars.
No, yes. I thought something came out that he said he was like fully expecting like he would have taken a discounted deal, like all kinds of stuff like that. Like he was very disappointed.
I can't remember, but it's crazy guys. They did not do anything to replace anybody on that side of the field, right?
I have the depth chart up here. Looking at the defense, doesn't really think so. I mean, they don't really have a great defense. A lot of them are not guys to know.
They have a good front seven. It's the secondary.
Yeah. They have a good front seven.
Carlos Dunlap, but he's like 300 years old.
Yeah,
their front seven is produced. It's their secondary that gets torched. And that's so I do like that angle for the over here. But like Hefe said, I'm rolling with the Chiefs in this one. I think people are severely underrating. I don't think this offense is going to see that much of a drop off. I think they're severely underrating Juju. I know people love to rip on him because he makes TikToks and stuff, but the guy can play wide receiver. The guy's a good wide receiver, and he's only going to get better with Patrick Mahomes throwing to him.
Totally agree.
He went from having Big Ben, who could barely throw with his noodle arm, to having the best quarterback in the league who could throw with what looks like a noodle arm, making crazy passes all over the field. So I think that this offense doesn't see too much drop off, to be honest. I know they lost Tyreek. That's, the one hit wonder plays maybe go down a little bit, but I still think that they're going to move efficiently. I like the Chiefs to cover here in week one.
I like it, man. I like it. All right, guys. Couple more games here on the slate. 1, 2. We got one more Sunday game. We got a Sunday night football game and a Monday night football game. Let's keep it rolling. Raiders, Chargers. Wow. Where do we start? This is going to be a great game, we can hope. The Raiders, obviously, they added Devontae Adams on offense. They added Chandler Jones on defense. This is already a team that I really liked last year. That was on the up and up. They squeaked into the playoffs by beating these Chargers. You remember that last game of the year, Alpha? That was crazy. That was the game where I'm blanking on the Chargers head coach name, but he went for it in like 4th down in their own 30. Didn't get it, changed the whole complexion of the game, ended up giving up a field goal, and ended up losing by a field goal. Chargers.
They could have tied. Brandon Staley.
Yes, Brandon Staley. There you go. Thank you. Chargers. Justin Herbert. Possible MVP candidate, possible breakout year for him if he hasn't already. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler is what you're working with on the offense. On the defense, they bring in, why am I blinking out who they brought in? The linebacker from the Bears. Oh, come on, guys. He was a Raider great. I'm blanking out. Somebody help.
What? Are you talking about?
Khalil Mack, yes.
I wasn't paying attention.
Khalil Mack, they're healthy on their defensive secondary. They paid I'm blanking who they pay out of FSU.
Derwin James.
Derwin James got paid. They got Bosa on the line. This is a star-studded game. The line is Chargers -3.5. They are at home. What do we think here, guys? Over under 52. BBB, start with you.
I think this line is pretty much where it should be. I think it's a 3-point line because of the home field advantage for the Chargers. That's usually how these games will work. But we're getting a little half point here, which I love for the Raiders. We saw last year the Chargers have one of the worst home field advantages that in the entire league. It's practically home games for other teams.
This is a Raiders home game. This
exact game last year was insane. It was a Raiders home game, and I think we see that again. +3.5. I love Las Vegas here. I think that like we just talked about having a division that has multiple teams that are good. This is the best division in football this year, hands down. I think this is going to be a great game, and I love getting the field goal and a half on this one. So I'm taking the Raiders +3.5. I think that not having to have them win the game is perfect in this scenario because I think we will see similar to some of the games we saw last year where they slug it out and it comes down to a last possession game. So give me the Raiders +3.5.
Do you think it's going to be a shootout? I think we're going to see a ton of points. The Raiders are going to want to broadcast that new high-powered passing offense. I think they're going to come out throwing, and the Chargers have that offense with Justin Herbert where they come out throwing almost every single game. So do you think this is a good overplay here? I'm going to just quickly say it's one of my favorite plays, if not my favorite play of the week, over 52.5. But BBB, what do you think about the total?
I think the total is a little sketchy. It's a high total, and people are going to want to bet the over on this one. But we have some new pieces coming in. It could take some time to gel. Even if it's like, hey, it takes a couple quarters, I could see this one, barely squeaking under. I think it's a sharp total. I think the total will be right around there. I think you see the little ESPN graphic there. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw a 24-27, final score.
I like the over here, guys. I'll be fully honest with you. I really wish I had the player props here because I want to take Hunter Renfro's over receptions. I think Devontae Adams is going to be a star, but I think who will honestly benefit the most is Hunter Renfro. You're not single coveraging Devontae. Darren Waller also requires a double team. I really think Hunter Renfro is going to benefit the most out of this, and I would love to see where his receptions and where his yards end up. That's my lean. I don't have those numbers yet, but that's my lean for this game. As a side, I don't have one, but I love the over.
What do you think about Renfro anytime? That's about the only prop I see. They have anytime touchdown bets available for this game. Plus 175. I don't think that's enough.
The thing is, Alpha, I'm not confident enough to say he'll get a touchdown. I just know in terms of rapport and from what I saw last year, that was Carr's safety net. And I get it. Now he has Devontae, who he's best friends with from college. They have a chemistry off the field, so that'll translate onto the field. I just still think in terms of coverages, Carr is not going to force balls to Devontae. You can, but I don't think he has to. In terms of coverages, if you have a one-on-one, Renfro has proven that he's an elite route runner. Look at, you guys saw like those offseason interviews with different cornerbacks. They went to Jalen Ramsey, said who's the hardest guard, and he goes Hunter Renfro. He said Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Hunter Renfro. And everybody's like, really? He's like, yeah, my man is a crazy route runner. Yeah, I think Hunter Renfro is going to have a great year. A fantasy guy that I would definitely pick, whoever's watching, if you still have a draft going. But that's my lean, and I also like the over as far as the gameplay.
Amazing information about Hunter Renfro, but you still have not answered my question. Would you play his anytime touchdown at plus 165?
No.
Got it. I don't think it's enough value either. Respect. It needs to be plus 200.
I think he's more of like that middle of the field guy that's going to move him up the field. I think when it gets to the red zone, you're going to see a little Josh Jacobs. I know he's getting a lot of hate. You're still going to see Josh Jacobs, and you're going to see slants that way or that way. Waller, Adams. That's it.
Love it.
All right, guys, 2 more games, Sunday night and Monday night. Sunday night football is the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brady is still the quarterback there. We thought he was gone, but he was never leaving, like Leonardo DiCaprio with Wolf of Wall Street. And on the other side, we got the Cowboys, who I personally am going to say a hot take right now. I think are going to be one of the most disappointing teams in the NFL this season. They have 2 things that I think are going against them. A, Jerry Jones openly putting insane expectations on them all over the media, saying it's not just playoffs or bust, it is moving on in the playoffs or bust. And B, they're still acting like they have the best offensive line in football. They don't. They're old. They're injured. Half of the ones that are good are not playing and won't be playing for a while. I know they used the first-round pick to shore up a backup for Tyrone Smith. I just don't think it's going to be enough. They lost Lyle Collins. Zach Martin's still there. He's a star. But This is a team that banked on its offensive line to make Dak look great. Now Dak has to look great with a mediocre offensive line. I don't buy it. No Amari Cooper. I think CD is great, but who else is there? Zeke, Pollard in the backfield. If they can stay healthy, that's going to be lethal. And this defense was the most opportunistic defense last year, period. They had the most points on turnovers. Guys, that's not a stat that you could bank on. That's being lucky. I guarantee you Diggs ain't having the same amount of interceptions and touchdowns that he had last year. I'm rolling with the Bucs here to win their season opener. I'm taking them on the money line. I'm struggling to see where that line is right now. But
I have it right here. The current line is money line is minus 130 on the Bucs, plus 115 on the Cowboys. Question for you before we move on for you. We all know about the Bucs offensive line. Banged up is an understatement. They are missing almost everyone.
Totally. 100%.
Cowboys specialty right now. They have some good defensive line pieces.
Absolutely.
Mike Parsons is out there. They have DeMarcus Lawrence who's still on that defense. Do you think that this defensive line can totally disrupt this offense? I mean, they're going to be getting pressure. They're going to be getting hits off on Brady. It's early. Is that going to have a big impact on this?
No, I think the Bucs are loaded on offense, and I think one of the points of emphasis is going to be quick outs for Brady. It's ain't going to be 40-yard TDs. This is going to be 5-6 yard outs and make things happen. When you got Evans, Goodwin, Gage, who else did they got another guy I'm blanking out on in Tampa, the fourth
Julio
Jones.
Oh my God, Julio. You have every one of those guys is either big body or very good route runners. They are going to be focused on quick outs. Leonard Fournette is going to have to be much more involved in the passing downs. I think they'll be okay. In terms of the season, absolute big time worry. Tom Brady is way too old to be running around in that pocket. But I think for week one, I'm more so selling the Cowboys than buying the Bucs, if that makes sense.
It does. Unfortunately, I see this game completely opposite of you. I am all over the Cowboys in the spot. I think the offensive line is going to be a major factor for the Bucs all season long. I do like what they have on the offensive side. I do even like the Julio Jones signing. A lot of people saying it's an irrelevant signing. He's not the same guy. He's a big body who can make catches at the top point. Brady's going to put it where he can catch it, and I think he's going to have a good year. But I still don't think they're going to be able to overcome that offensive line. I'm going to take it even further. I'm not taking the points. Give me the Cowboys on the money line, plus 115. I really think they win this one. It's a statement game to take down the Bucs. BBB, what you got?
Yeah, I think you guys are both pointing to the same point that leads to my play on this one. I'm taking the under 50.5. It's or if you can get it at under 51, either way, I like them both. I think we see a much lower scoring game in this one. I think that we're going to see not a lot of points. Like you said, both offensive lines are absolutely decimated. I think we're going to see a lot of short passes from the Bucs in this one. And like you said, I think the offensive line for both sides, it's going to be a struggle to score. I think it's going to be a struggle to get stuff off. The run games will struggle. So maybe it turns into some passing, but either way, I don't think it's going to be much more than quick outs for the Buccaneers because like you said, he's not going to have time in the pocket. Brady's also proven, last year, he can't really throw the deep ball very well anymore. It just turns into a straggly noodle. But he's still elite on those underneath throws, and that's what the Bucs will play to their advantage. So I like this one to go under, especially with it being a Sunday night primetime game.
Yeah, the Sunday night primetime is what I was going to mention. This is going to be a big chase game for everybody. Whether you're up or down. So basically, I would play this as the contrarian way, whatever it ends up. Right now, 64% on Tampa. All right, guys, let's move it on. It's been a while. Been on here for over an hour. Monday Night Football. Russell Wilson left. Well, he's right back to Seattle in week one. I think they're rolling out Geno Smith or whoever the hell Seattle's rolling out. I don't know. Seattle's a mess. They are totally rebuilding, at least in every single asset except for their wide receivers. They still got DK Metcalf. They still got Tyler Lockett, which I think is a hell of a 1-2. But it does matter who's throwing to you, and it's going to be Geno. He does have some rapport with his team, which I think does go a long way. He wasn't terrible with them towards the end of last year. He really wasn't.
Terrible.
The running backs are questionable. You think you got Rashard Penny to start off with. Kenneth Gainwell, when he comes back from a sports hernia, will probably be the starter, the rookie that they drafted.
Ooh.
Michigan, Kenneth Walker.
Walker. You said Gainwell.
Oh, sorry. No, Kenneth Gainwell's with the Eagles. Kenneth Walker, the rookie out of Michigan State. This is a 6.5 line for Seattle. They are road favorites, as they should be. They got Russell Wilson. They got a great offense that is only going to be elevated for Denver, for Russell Wilson. And then last year they had a top 5 defense that they only got better. They did not get worse on that side. I really love their defensive backs there in Denver. They are hard-nosed and just really good players there, young core. BBB, is 6.5 too much, with the public obviously going to be all over Denver in this so-called revenge spot?
I mean, it really depends. Do you guys believe in the 90% rule for the NFL? Because
I was just going to say that you beat me to it. It's why I tossed it up for you. Go to tell them the percent. It's 92% on Denver.
Exactly. That screams, especially with this being, I think it being under a touchdown. This feels like one of the biggest traps. Probably going to end up being one of the sharpest lines that we see this entire week, especially with it being a Monday Night Football game. All eyes are on it. Everyone's just had a great weekend of football, and this is where they're going to take everyone's money, I believe. I think that somehow, some way, Seattle gets a cover in this one. Denver starts out slow. Something happens. Something's going to go crazy here. This is 100% a line play for me. I think that Seattle gets the cover. But yeah, there's a lot going on in Seattle. That's probably going to be a long year for them. But hey, maybe they get to start off the year with a cover. So how about that?
I think they might get the cover here. This is a teaser spot for me. Not going to go with the other teaser leg here because it was back from a game earlier, but I did tease Denver down. I think it's the only way to play this one. But on your point do you think the 90% rule applies to the NFL? I do not. I do not take the 90% rule into effect in the NFL. Only in the NBA and MLB is how I go about the 90% rule.
That's kind of crazy because
I like to know where they're at, but I'm not going to make my pick based on the public betting percentage in NFL. And I do like to tease teams a lot. So I do tease a lot of those 90% down if I do like them, which I'm doing in this spot. But the betting percentage does not discourage me from making a play in NFL.
I want to say two things here. If you're looking for a teaser option for this game, being that this is technically week 1, but in terms of betting books, it will be towards the next week. So week 2. I can tell you right now that taking Denver down to a 0.5 and then taking the Packers, who will be facing the Bears next Sunday. They're a -10 to a -4 is something that I love because Aaron Rodgers owns
super sharp.
Owns the
super
Bears.
sharp, but nobody is tying up their weekly cash from a Monday through a Sunday. So find a Sunday play that you like and add that money.
Let me finish here. I'm right with BBB. I'm buying a half point up on Seattle, bringing them to a 7. This is everybody's going to stare at this game and be like, I had a good Sunday.
I think if you wait on it, you'll get a better line. The public's going to continue to hammer this. You could probably get the 7.
BB, I completely agree with you. I think this line will settle closer to 7.58. And I'm going to roll with the Seahawks here. This is a line play for me right now. I totally think Denver's going to be a great team. But Russell Wilson is a God, man. He is a real emotional guy. And if you're telling me emotions aren't going to be high, this is a team he brought to the Super Bowl twice, won a Super Bowl with. This is the entire team. This is his first game in a new uniform. And it's in Seattle. It would be one thing if it was in Denver versus Seattle, but it's in Seattle. A lot of emotions going to be running high here. It's a new system for him too. First-time offensive coordinator, first-time head coach with a first-time quarterback in this new system who's been running one system for his entire career with one head coach in Pete Carroll, right? It's a little different. Also, I'm pretty sure Pete Carroll knows who Russell Wilson is. I'm sure Pete Carroll knows who Russell Simmons is too. Shout out Fat Farm. But yeah, guys, I'm rolling with the Seahawks here +7, buying half point. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We went through every single game, all 16 of them, gave plays on each and every one. We'll hopefully be here every week doing the same thing. Thank you. Good luck. And remember, it's week 1. We got 17 more to go. Don't waste your money. Gamble responsibly.
Let's go Giants.
We need